All right, what's up? Is Joshua. And like, I was gonna get into donkey and all that, and like the fanatical, but let's do some light work. Let's go to Genesis, right? Genesis shouldn't be a book of law, and here's why Genesis shouldn't be a book of law. How much power it has. Let's not even get into that because I've been through this battle. I've been through this manifestation. I've been through this darkness. I've been through this fight. But here's why Genesis isn't a book of law. Okay, if by the creation and free will, right? And abracadabra, what I speak, I create, or abracadabra, or if you want to go with Proverbs and all that Solomon gobbledygook of your tongue and what you think, and what I think is what I create, and all that stuff, right? The reason why Genesis, first of all, the Hebrew people and Judaism really isn't born until God gives them the law, right? Until he pulls them out. Exodus. That's the first book. Genesis is just a story, right? And if there are principalities and demons, like the principalities, if there's all that stuff, right? That power over this, okay, if that's true, and free will, and if Satan has no control other than if I think it, then if I think it and I create it, then I'm allowing it into this world. Correct? Well, Exodus is the first book. When God takes ownership, specific ownership, goes to Moses and goes, I'm taking ownership over this. This is my portion, and takes him out. That's when Judaism is created. That's when the law is set down. Everything before that's just a story. And the proof behind that is it's in the book of Genesis. So if you make Genesis a book of law and you're going by free will and you're going by everything, those principalities and demons by Christianity and all that other stuff, okay, Adam and Eve and the fall and the snake, you're making that law. Like the tower. Let's go to the Tower of Babel. All right, it's in Genesis. So man came together and tried to put himself on a level with God and built this tower, whether it's a metaphor or whatever, and then God said, yeah, and he broke it apart and he spread it and gave everybody different tongues, right? That's why when you watch Ancient Aliens on history, they're like, why did the pyramids here? Why did the pyramids? Because it was all one at one time. God broke it apart. So there's a little bit of God in all of it, right? Let's say that the demons went, and let's say there's demons, right? Rolling their R's and influencing, and they're influencing. So when God breaks it apart and spreads all these things out all over creation, all these different religions spring up. Buddhism, Zechariahism, Christianityism, Aztecs, Hebrew Jibu in Africa, and in Ghanaian religions, Ananasi spider demon religions, Celtic religions, whatever. Germanic religions, Nordic religions, Japanese, Shindu, Binju, Wanju religions, Kali, Hindu religions. They all get broken apart, right? But they're all part of the Genesis story. Okay? So, if by the creation of free will, even with Judaism or whatever, if you put Genesis in as a book of law, right? It's not just the laws of Moses are in effect. It's the law of all those other religions rule as well. If we're going by free will and how everything's handed out, because all those religions are part of the book of Genesis. So even though they were broke up, all those laws that they went and created, if there are demons and principalities and all that crap, then you're giving them power, and then all those demons have power too. Even though Christianity is a demonic religion as well, and they're all gathered up into one. I think that's what God did. He had you going, hey, gather them all up for me. and then I'm going to fix it. Josh, go break it, and then we'll fix it. Right? But if you have Genesis as a book of law, all those other religions, all those laws, Shintoism, Aztec, uh, you know, ancient Egyptian religions, any religion, Wiccan, all that stuff has power because you're making it a book of law of God's law by the creation of free will. That's why Genesis shouldn't be a book of law. It's not a book of law anyway. It's a story. But that's why. If you have it in as a book of law, and God's making this deal with it, and he's like, hey, well, I'm never Copperfield as I speak correct Proverbs of Solomon my tongue, you know. Okay. Well, then if that's a book of law, then you're making all those religions law as well. You think that, oh no, it's just the law, this is not. No, you're making all those law as well. I'm the Ark of the Covenant, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't get rid of those covenants. Like the covenants doesn't matter into the law. Covenants are just deals that God made with you. Those deals are still going on. Those are just deals, but the law is the law. I'm the law. 3 and 7 is the law. 37 is the law, right? The law is the law, and if you put Genesis in as a book of law, then you're putting all those other religions and all that stuff that God broke apart and like scattered everywhere. All those religions are law as well, and you just don't realize that you're doing it. But the reason I want to talk about this is because I've been through this battle, right? And I have some different ideas about how I view it, but I still think Genesis shouldn't be a book of law. How much power that has, that's why I don't harp on it. But Dominus, Dominus, Abominus, Pope of Francis.